Thank you. I'm going to be talking about elevator pitches. Now, there's lots of different forms of elevator pitch. Any of you who've done networking will know the 1-minute elevator pitch where you stand up and you introduce yourself for 1 minute. We're not talking about that one today. We're talking about the 10-second elevator pitch. You might not have even known there was a 10-second elevator pitch or pitch. I mean, you know, some people don't like the word elevator pitch, but you might not have even known there was one, but actually there is. And it's what you say when somebody, thank you, Charlie. It's what you say when somebody says, what do you do? Or what do you speak about? Those of us who were in the professionals meeting on Thursday, you lose track of the days that you hear. Those of us who were in the professionals meeting on Thursday heard Patrick say, get into the habit of asking people, what do you speak about? Or outside of this environment, it might be, what do you do? Now, I know that some of you, speaking is your primary business. And for some of you, you are consultants, you are coaches, you have other forms of business. So throughout this, I'm going to be referring to the question, what do you do and what do you speak about? They're interchangeable for the purposes of this. So pick the one that best suits you. We're going to start, however, with a story, a true story. And it's a story about my nostrils. I had to have an operation on my sinuses. And so a couple of weeks before the operation, I went to see the ear, nose and throat specialist. And I walked in and he said, hello, Carol, nice to meet you. Take a seat. What do you do? Now, I knew he wasn't in the slightest bit interested in what I did. He was just being polite. What he really wanted was to get his camera up my left nostril to look at my enlarged turbinates. Now, and by the way, I don't know if you know you've got turbinates. I didn't know I had turbinates. I do now. And I also know that mine were enormous. Anyway, so what do you do, he says. Now, as I say, I knew he wasn't really interested, but you know what? The answer was on the tip of my tongue. This is what I do. The answer was on the tip of my tongue. So I said, well, I'm a business communication expert. I said, I help technology companies to win more business by clearly articulating their value. And what he said next blew me away. Because what he said was, that's interesting. I'm an investor in a technology company, and that's exactly the problem we've got. A week later, I had a meeting. 2 weeks later, I had a new client. Now, the point of that story is that opportunity is everywhere. And the 10-second elevator pitch is the way you can uncover that opportunity if you get it right. But you've only got 10 seconds. So what do you say? What do you do? This is what we're going to learn in this workshop. So we are going to cover the goal of the 10-second workshop, the 10-second pitch, a structure, and I deliberately say a structure, and then this is a workshop where you are going to do the work, okay? So the goal of the 10-second pitch. The 10-second pitch is a hook. It's got to get people interested. When I said what I said to that ear, nose and throat specialist, he said, that's interesting. First words that came out, that's interesting. And then he told me something. It was enough for the hook to get him interested, okay? So it needs to be a hook. It can open the door to possibility. Did that 10-second sentence that I said to him, did that win me a new client? Yes and no. It opened the door to the possibility. I still had to go to that meeting. Well, in fact, I had to follow up. He said, I'll send you the guy's details. So I had to follow up. We've heard how important follow-up is. I had to follow up. I had to go to that meeting. I sat in that meeting for an hour. I did a discovery call. I listened to what it was that they were concerned about. I put a proposal together. So my 10-second pitch didn't directly win me the business. No, there was a lot of work afterwards. But would I have known about that opportunity if I hadn't said what I had? Absolutely not. I wasn't even in business mode. I was there in my old tracky dacks. Oh, sorry, that's an Australian slang for tracksuit bottoms. I was there in my tracky dacks, and I wasn't even thinking about business, but this little pitch came off the tip of my tongue. So I wouldn't have even known there was opportunity. So it opened the door to possibility. But the other thing that the 10-second pitch can do is let you know when it's time to move on. Because you know what? A lot of people aren't going to respond by saying, oh, that's interesting, tell me more, or I've got this client, you should go and meet. Let's face it, most of them aren't. Most of them aren't. But you know what? qualifying people out is really important, isn't it, in business? And how many times can you qualify people out in 10 seconds? I mean, we spend a lot of time, people always talk about, I want more leads, I want more leads. What we actually want is really good quality leads, because if you get 100 leads and only 5 are any good, you've got to spend all your time qualifying out the 95 that are crap. So this actually acts as a way of very quickly knowing if somebody's, I'm not saying whether they're worth talking to, of course they're still worth talking to, but whether very quickly tells you in a business sense whether there is opportunity there or not. And if not, that's absolutely fine too. So let's look at a structure. So the structure that I'm going to share with you today is called name, saying, claim to fame. And full disclosure, that name is stolen or borrowed, adapted from Daniel Priestley, many of whom you know, and he spoke here a couple of years ago. He came up with his name, saying, claim to fame. I have changed what's in the claim to fame, so my model is very slightly different. I say it's a structure because if you simply Googled structure for an elevator pitch, you will find, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, whatever, there's loads. I'm not even telling you this is the best structure because I have no evidence, no concrete evidence on which to base a claim that this is the best structure. What I am telling you is this is a structure that works. I've coached loads and loads of people with this structure and it absolutely works. So let's look at this structure in a bit more detail. Name. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, she can tell me how to say my name. I think I know how to say my name. Well, I kind of am, because we say our name so many times in a day. I don't know how many times, but if you sat and worked it out, you'd probably, go nuts before you worked out how many times you say your name in a day. And when we say something very frequently, we tend to skim over it a little bit, or mumble it, or run the words together. So when you do that, two things happen. First of all, the other person can't really hear it clearly, and if they can't hear it clearly, they can't remember it. And the second thing is, when we skim over something or mumble it, we're saying it's not important. So when you say your name, just give it a little bit of a pause and a little bit of emphasis, because I could say, my name's Carol Benton. If you hadn't heard my name before, you might not really get that. You certainly might not remember it. It doesn't really sound like I think it's very important. Or if I say, good morning, my name is Carol Benton. You see how it sounds a little bit more? That's all I'm going to do in terms of teaching how to say your name. And I would also say, this is the structure if you are in a slightly more formal environment. If somebody says, what do? You don't say, my name is. Obviously, you just do the same and the claim to fame, all right? So, but just be aware when you say your name that just because you are very familiar with it, others aren't. Now, same. This is where you put yourself into a category. Now, you're all going to say, I don't want to be put in a category. We're all neurodiverse and we don't want to be put in a category. But the category is a really, really useful shortcut for your audience. If you say, I'm a speaker, they have a particular expectation of what's going to come next. It's sort of priming them, if you like. They've got an expectation of what's going to come next. They would have a different expectation if you say, I'm a physiotherapist, I'm a builder, I'm a, cycle manufacturer. I don't know. So it's just setting that scene. I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm a business consultant, I'm a speaker, I'm a public speaker, I'm a professional speaker. Whatever you say, it's putting yourself in that category that very, very quickly gives your audience a message about what to expect next. But the real gold is in the claim to fame. So there's 3 parts to the claim to fame, but it's all one sentence, if you can, 2 at tops. Who do you help? So who's your target audience, or who do you speak to? Who is your target audience? The second bit is, what do you do for them? What is it that you do? And the third bit is, what is the outcome? Now, the target audience, the who do you speak to, the more specific you can be, the better. I've heard so many people, I do a lot of business networking, I've heard so many people say, oh, well, we help everyone, or I speak to everyone. I speak to businesses, I speak to corporates. I mean, that's a very, very large category. And the trouble when you have your category too wide is that nobody thinks you're talking to them. The more specific you can be, the more niche you can be about who your audience is, the more your message will resonate with the right people. And it may eliminate some of the wrong people, but remember what we said about qualifying out? So be specific. Now, The reason that this works is something called the cocktail party effect. Has anyone heard of the cocktail party effect? We've got any linguists? Yes, okay. So for the others who haven't heard it before, this means, so imagine a situation where you're in a social situation like last night. Okay, lots of chatter around you. You're struggling maybe even to hear the person next to you. Someone 3 tables away says your name. What happens? You hear it, don't you? It cuts through. And that's because our brains are wired to hear messages that are meant for us. How do you translate that into business communication? It means that if you say, I help this particular group of people, and you happen to be speaking to someone who's in that group of people or who knows someone in that group of people, they're thinking, this is meant for me. So think about what I said to that ear, nose and throat specialist. I said, I help technology companies to win more business by helping them to articulate their value. Imagine if I'd just said, I'm a business communication consultant and I help companies articulate their value. He might have put me in touch with his company, the company in which he's an investor. I suspect probably not. I suspect it was the fact that I said, I help technology companies. So, and I remember I was at a networking event and I met a videographer. I've met lots of videographers, very nice people they are too, for the camera. But I met a videographer. Now, as I say, I've met lots of videographers and, you know, usually there's an email that follows up, but there's not a lot. This guy said to me, I'm a videographer. I specialize in helping not-for-profits to use video to generate more donations and bequests. And at that time, I was working with a client who is the CEO of a not-for-profit animal shelter. And that was exactly the problem she had. I knew I should introduce him to her, which I did, and they did some business together. It was because he said, I specialize in not-for-profits. Now, that might not be all your business. And I've just told you I had a client who was a not-for-profit when actually I specialize in technology. So it doesn't mean that's all you do, but in terms of your messaging, the more niche you can be, the better. So who do you speak to, and be specific? What do you do for them? Now, I share information about this. I talk about this. I give them, what was the one you came up with last night, Peter? I give them resources.
Knowledge, skills, and resources.
Knowledge, skills, and that's right. Knowledge, skills, and resources to help them on their entrepreneurial journey. So Peter and I did a little pre-workshop last night. To help them on their entrepreneurial journey. But it was knowledge, skills, and resources. What do you do? If you're a coach, that's going to be different to if you're a speaker. It's going to be different to if you're a trainer. And what is the outcome? The reason anybody buys anything is because of the outcome. It's only ever about the outcome. What do you help them to do? So that they can. Okay? So you've got to be able to articulate the outcome. Does that all make sense? Okay. So, now it's your turn. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. You can use this worksheet if you'd like to. Do you want to pass those back? You can make some notes on this worksheet. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. You can do this individually. You can do this in pairs or small groups. I don't mind, whichever you feel works best for you. You can just sort of sit quietly and make a few notes for yourself, or you can discuss it with somebody next to you. Okay, so it's my name is, I'm a, and then ideally the claim to fame is 1 sentence. Okay? I'm going to give you 2 in case you need 2, but ideally it's 1 sentence. And then some of you are going to come up here and practice. You will all get a little prize, and the best one will get a bigger prize.
Well,
now it's a competition. Now I've got you interested. Okay. 5 minutes, roughly. Okay. Back in the room, please. I would like my first volunteer, please. Oh, very quick hand there. It's Des, isn't it? Des. Yes. So what we're going to do, we're going to listen to Des's pitch, and then the really valuable thing about this workshop is not what I say, it's actually the feedback you give each other. So I want you to hear Des's 10-second pitch, and I want you to say, remembering this is a very supportive space, by the way, we're going to be supportive, but I'd like you to then say, do you understand what Des does? Do you think there's anything that could make it clearer? You might have a question for him. So, Des.
Good afternoon. My name is Des Taylor from Landlords Events.
We're a specialist legal services and compliance firm, and we help landlords in the private renting sector who are facing council enforcement, and we take them through the process so that all the matters are resolved. They can continue being a landlord.
Right. First of all, Des, no, stay there. Most important thing, have a chocolate.
No, I want the whole bag.
No. Why do you think it's open?
Because that's what's going to happen.
By the way, how hard is it having a bag of bloody chocolates in your room when you're on a conference? You're lucky there's any here.
If I learned something this morning, you've got to say no.
No, I've got them in my room because I was bringing them. You don't want one. Okay, come back up, Des. So, what do we think? Do we understand what Des does?
Yeah.
Okay, so we understand what Des does. Anyone got any could be better if feedback?
Oh, no.
Yes.
I was only thinking it's clear, but just could it be more succinct? Less wordy.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Speak a little slower.
Yeah.
I picked up landlord, but I missed the bits in between.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, Phil.
The words you used, Des, about kind of category, it was about legal and professional services.
Legal services and compliance.
Right, legal services and compliance. Right, I mean this supportively. To some people you say those words to, they instantly think, oh, God, bad. You know, I mean, yeah? It's not exciting. But the next bit you said, right, really hit home in terms of what you do. I just wonder what it would sound like without that more generic legal services and compliance line.
Would you like me to try?
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Des Taylor, Landlords Defence, and we help landlords in the private rented sector that have council enforcement, and we take them through the process so it's completely resolved.
Much better. So, you could either leave out the same. I generally recommend having a same, or we come up with something to Phil's point. And by the way, I agree with everyone's points. I thought they were very good points. Or we come up with something that and I'll come on to another point in a minute where you said we, not I. But could be landlord property specialist or
I'm a property tribunal advocate.
okay. Is that better, Phil? Advocate. Property tribunal advocate.
The interesting bit is the next bit.
Okay, so you preferred it without.
Go straight there.
Okay, so maybe in Des's case we do it without.
To leave that because people confuse me for being some things I'm not. I'm not a barrister.
You're not a
But I
lawyer.
am an advocate.
Yes.
There's two different things, and one needs to be licensed
Yes.
and one doesn't.
I think
Okay.
it's a really good, like it's not a world I know, so instantly, you were saying about excluding
Yes.
people,
Yep.
so I would keep it in because I think if you're in your world, that terminology is probably something that people would know.
Okay.
I'm with Phil, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I think once you hear private rented sector landlords, you know I'm not social landlords, council landlords, and you know it's landlords. And I'm with Phil on that. I think leave that bit out because, that is something that people often say, I get confused, and I'm glad we got that feedback today.
Good. Yes, we've got another piece of feedback. Yes.
Someone said to me the other day, make no assumptions of knowledge.
Yes.
So don't assume anyone knows what an advocate is or whatever.
Absolutely, because we can exclude people sometimes by saying that.
I might need you, but I might not know you.
yeah.
Need you.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Lynn. One other point. Des said we. He said, I think you gave the name of you said Landlords Defence, and then you said we. In a pitch where you are standing up in front of people, my personal recommendation is that you always use I. You may be part of a company, but they're not. The other people aren't here with you. They are going to connect with you. There are plenty of people who do what Des does. I hate to tell you, you're probably not absolutely unique in doing what you do.
I hate to say there aren't.
Well, okay, but there will be other people in similar fields, and people are going to engage with Des because they like Des. They connect with Des. So I always think in a pitch, you should say I. I remember when I was in my corporate life and learnt to do interview training, and we were always taught if the candidate says, and Helen will know this, if the candidate says, you ask them, give me a situation where you showed resilience, and the candidate says, we did this, always ask them, what did you do? Because you don't want to know what their team did. So that's just a little point as well. But well done, Des.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
right, Darren, you wanted to come up and do yours.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. There we are.
Darren.
Yes.
I'm just reading Damien's handwriting. Nevertheless, which Carol did try and struggled.
Yeah, I couldn't read it.
That says, so I'll say it from memory. My name's Darren Harris, and I'm an overcoming adversity speaker who gives tech and health companies the psychological tools to better prepare for and respond to challenges.
What do we think? Do you want a chocolate, Darren?
I don't eat chocolate, but I can happily give it to someone else.
Right. There you go.
I'm going to give it to Damien for your writing.
Any feedback? Yes, Kevin.
Oh, sorry. I thought I'd be a bit more specific about what you do. But I had my hand up for something else.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. Anyone got any feedback? Do we understand what Darren does? Who he speaks, what he speaks about, who he does it for? Anyone got any feedback? Any even better if feedback for Darren?
I don't think you should be holding the paper.
It's leaving.
Does it look like I can't read it?
No.
Is it even the right way round?
I think Anna Rita has some feedback.
Is the print on the back?
Something about challenges is quite generic. Which kind of challenges?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which type of challenges? Okay. Okay. And what was it you said in your thing? What was it you said, Darren? I help them overcome.
So give them psychological tools to better prepare for and respond to.
Yes, to challenges. So is there something you could say that's more specific about the type of challenges, for example? Yeah, that would be the feedback from Anna Rita. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think we've got time for one more. One more. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Right, who did I see first? Right, let's hear it for Beth.
Hi everyone, my name is Beth Thomas. I'm a neuro-inclusion specialist. I help leadership and management improve their educational gaps so that they can better support their teams more effectively.
Grab yourself a chocolate, Beth.
I can eat all the chocolate bread.
Right, do we understand what Beth does? You've got some feedback.
Oh, I do have I do understand, but I've got a little bit of feedback and I can jump in.
Yes, of course.
Your last line, can we have it more clear what the outcome is? Because you support them effectively.
Yes.
So that they can...
Oh, so that they can do all sorts of things that I wasn't sure I'd be able to fit in.
Okay.
So I need to work on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can do things like improve psychological safety, improve confidence, improve their productivity.
And my tip there would be pick 3 things max. So improve their psychological safety, confidence, and X. No more than 3. Phil's got some feedback for you.
Connect those things to a business outcome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The supporting teams I'm absolutely with, but it's so that they can
Reduce
just
presenteeism.
contribute to
Absolutely, yes,
business
yeah.
outcome.
So, yeah, fantastic. Now, did you say which industries? You said...
Didn't say
No.
industries because I don't specify.
No,
anything,
that's
but
okay.
I'm happy to. If
No. If you don't, then that's fine. But if there's, by the way, when we talk about niches, it doesn't have to be an industry. It could be just Anna Rita we were just talking about hers during the questions, and Anna Rita, for example, supports women with chronic pain. So it's not an industry; it's a demographic. So be really sort of out of the box a little bit with your thinking about how you specify your target market, because it doesn't have to be schools, industrial companies, etc. So, yeah.
I have a question for Claire.
Yes, please.
So you said neuro inclusion specialist.
Yes.
I've kind of heard people talk about neurodiversity specialist, so
Yeah.
that confused me.
Good question.
So have you chosen that to differentiate yourself, or what's the difference?
It's a really good question. So I've chosen it in part to differentiate myself, but also to refer to being able to teach people how to include and embrace diversity. So neurodiversity is a different term to neuroinclusion. So neurodiversity refers to the diverse nature in which all brains diverge and also fall into dominant societal norms. And then neuroinclusion refers to the active practice of embracing and including all of the different ways in which they diverge.
Wow. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Now, Beth, you have a chocolate. My prize for the best one, I'm going to go with Beth at the end here. So, Beth, that's your prize. Thank you. So, just in finishing, I know we've got no more time. I was just going to say, please connect with me. And who remembers what Larry said that healthy people do? They ask for what they want, exactly what they want, don't they? I'm a very healthy person, and I'm asking you, if you've enjoyed this workshop, please post about it on LinkedIn. Please give me a recommendation on LinkedIn. That's my request to you. And please, can we have a selfie? I'm useless at selfies, but we're going to try. Okay.
That page isn't working.
Yeah, I was going to say you.
Oh, is it not? Go high, Carol, go high. Go high. Okay, all right, smile. Okay, thank you. I will give you my LinkedIn, but thank you all so much for attending. Thank you.